Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesdays with Terri. And I'm super excited. Today, we have Amber Botello with us. This is the first time ever on Tuesdays with Terri having a guest. And what exciting guest we have today. So Amber is a part of my Abundance Mastermind, and she has launched a coaching business and already has signed up 2 clients in her first week, which is just crazy. So I just want to let you introduce yourself, and then we can kind of just talk about what you've learned and dig into some mindset and confidence building, happiness, and just kind of living an abundant life.
Well, Terri, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. I'm always excited. Your vibe is all the way out there. So first and foremost, just thank you for being the person that you are, the work that you do. It has definitely impacted me in many ways. And here we are today talking about my program, right? So what have I learned? I've learned so much. I've learned to love myself, to create a new story for myself, to affirm to myself all of the things that at one point I didn't believe or didn't think I was worthy of. Today, I'm just like, what? The page has just switched and I'm like, what? I do not believe in what? So I'm just very, very grateful. You bring such a great spirit to the team. I mean, you're a coach, but at the same time, you're a student. And I think that I love that about you. And that's something that I admire because you're totally willing to get feedback, give feedback, learn. You send anything that you're learning, you're sending it over our way. And I just think it's so amazing to see. I've seen you for so long. I followed you. And now I'm here and I'm just like, how crazy is this? If there's someone I would like to be like, is you. I would love to be radiant. I would love to be so selfless. I would love to be so caring and giving. So one of the main things I've learned is to believe in myself. And I am very, very grateful for that.
That's huge. There's this quote. It says, I'm sure you probably heard of it, but whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And I think all good things, once you start believing, if you don't believe, then you're not even going to attempt it, right? So, yeah, what made you instill that belief in yourself? Because that's really what stops most people, is they're like, that can't happen for me. What made you invest in yourself into this program? And, you're like a star student because you're doing the work. People know what they need to do, but then they don't do what they know, right? So, what was it like for you instilling that belief? And, how were you able to, switch your routine, start achieving these goals that you set out for yourself?
So, aside of the awesome program that you have that guides us, it's exactly like you said, it's implementing everything that I'm learning, putting it to practice, even if it goes against my temporary belief, right? And I say temporary because you are able to actually change at any time what you feel or believe or think about something. And more than anything, to be honest with you, what made the big change? I think for me, what made the big change was just being tired of my own bullshit. Tired of living the same life with the same perspective and getting no results and no outcomes. And no matter how good and how giving and how selfless or selfish or whatever, I just wasn't moving anywhere. I'd improve in certain things, but other relationships will pull back. And so it's just, not really fixing the core problem. And I think that going through your program and more than anything, be willing to go through the process. It's just like you said, everybody kind of intuitively knows what they need to do and how to help themselves, but it's just that taking that step, taking that belief, that leap of faith of okay, I'm ready to fly, And, for me, I've been wanting to for such a long time, and I've studied, and this is 6 years for me, 6 years in the self-development, investing in myself in books and seminars, and I just didn't get that click. And now that that click is there, I'm just like, watch out, like this got no brakes. So honestly, I feel super happy, super grateful, and it's really just wanting to. It's really wanting to, willing to, and what are you willing to do? Are you willing to leave that bullshit life that you have that you just can't get over, or are you complacent where you are and you think, well, I can't change things,
Oh, 100%. One of my mentors, Bob Proctor, he always says there's 2 questions you have to ask yourself. Like, are you able? And we're able. If anyone can do it, then you can do it. Right? If it's possible for one person, then it's possible for anyone. And then, are you willing? Are you willing to pay the price of whatever it takes, to do what you need to do to get it done? So, yeah, I think that you've really, shown that, and it's just so amazing. And so what I love is, so we talk a lot about, self-image, and so I know you've really taken that on. And it's so powerful. And it's a good reminder for me. I mean, because I haven't been on top of it as much as I want to be. But I know that's been a game changer from where I started when I was insecure and not confident and who am I to do this? And then to now, having a business and helping other people and, really living the life on my terms and how I want to. That's the biggest thing for me. I just want to be able to be an example that's possible. You don't have to live the way that, you were saying, a life that you're sick and tired of living where you're not happy and not fulfilled. I just get so man, there's another way. I want to show people there's another way when they, they're sad. At one point, it was when I was a lot younger, but just, depressed and suicidal, and I was getting bullied, and that really, messed up my self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, how I love myself, what I thought was possible. And then, doing this self-development work has just been definitely a game changer for me. And I know you have a really powerful story. So, where did you, so where did you come from? Because sometimes it's easy if you see someone oh, yeah, they have a good life and they're doing well. Hooray, good for you, right? But I know, everything wasn't always all roses for you. And then to see where you are now, you're going to start a program next week. You have people signed up and eager and ready and excited to get in your program. So yeah, let's learn a little bit more about you and behind the scenes and where you came from and how you got to where you are right now.
Okay, strap on the boots. Terri, it's just like you said, I think we all have a story, right? And I think that the most important part is how willing are you to hold that story, love your story, and then reframe your story. For me, I grew up in a household where the culture and the religion was one of the most important things. And so it's kind of like the women have to cook, the women have to clean at such a young age. They prepare you for all of these things, and it's never about achieving a goal or doing this or doing that. Your parents say, I want you to have more, but it's but you're teaching me not to, and I have a lot. I used to have a lot of complex trauma, especially unresolved issues, and I believe that a lot of my self-image of who I was before compared to who I am today was attached to feeling disgusted and ashamed and afraid, because I've been through multiple rapes and sexual assaults. And the last one was when I was 15, from a so-called boyfriend that I didn't understand at that time that that's what it was. But because of the label boyfriend, you allow certain things, and you're just oh, well, that's my boyfriend, I guess, right? Yeah, definitely. And so, and then my mom working 2 jobs, I had to step up to this woman role at such a young age. And so I feel that I didn't have an identity. Even growing up, I didn't know, where do I pull? Am I supposed to be a housewife, but yet I hate men? Right? So who am I? And so I feel for me, that's where I was stuck for such a long time. always in ponytails, always in, you know, braids, or putting my hair up in baggy clothes, you know, being so confused, thinking that at one point I liked girls, you know, just because I was escaping the reality of not having this relationship with the male. And it just got to a point where it ruined even my relationship with my friends, right? Why? Because I had to kind of fight my way through, you know. It's what I saw growing up. My dad, you know, we had domestic violence in the house, and my mom would then in turn kind of release her stress through hitting us at the same time. So I grew up thinking, oh, okay, you don't want to listen to me, you know, so we're going to fight and we're going to climb up the ladder with this aggressive behavior. That then, of course, is just a parallel of self-sabotage, right? You're so afraid of exposing who you are and how you feel and what your story has caused, that then you don't feel worthy, right? You don't even feel worthy of anything. And why I feel that your program has helped me so much is just also the simple self-image, working on who do I really want to be? Who is the Amber that I was placed here to be? Not who society says, not who the education system says, not who my parents say. This being, this light, this presence of consciousness, who is she? And I've come to realize that this me here, you know, this like open book, you know, this vulnerability that's just so natural to me, you know, to feel it, to say this is me. And I would gladly do it all over again, because where I am at today was worth it. It was worth being lost. It was worth, you know, not loving myself, because today I feel like I truly understand what is love. How does it feel and how does it overflow? So that's just
I
a
love
bit
it.
about me.
I think you're so brave for sharing your story, and that's like really what I get from you is like you're able to show up as yourself, authentic and real, and to tell your story and to tell a new story, and you know, the story that was in the past. And I like how you had changed your language when you were saying my, you know, like I am, or you know, I was, you know, I'm not that anymore, because there's so much power in I am, and so much power in our words, and so much power in our thinking, you know, which is gonna cause us to vibrate and act and attract in a whole different way. So like I just love that you're able to share it so authentically and being vulnerable, because I know that's one of the things that for me, I mean, I'll share a little bit, but you know, like to really dig in my story, and you know, it's a challenge even, you know, for me, and I've been doing this work for a while. So I just want to say I think you're so brave, and yeah, I'm just so grateful to know you and to be a part of you know, like this whole process that you're doing. So I'm curious. So you do have a program coming up next week, and I'm excited because I want you to let them know, because I would definitely, I don't recommend a lot of people, but I would recommend anybody you know, that kind of vibes with Amber and what she's saying, you know, just to listen about what your program is going to be about, and then yeah, share with us.
Thank you. So my program is pretty simple, straightforward, and it's called Get Real Raw Results. And it's because that's exactly what it's going to be about. We're going to get real. We're going to get raw. And what do I mean by raw? I'm talking about getting those layers off, taking off these masks, exposing yourself to the point where you feel naked. And that is, I think, where the magic happens. The moment that you say, this is who I am, this is who I've been, and I'm sick and tired of it. And then there we will get the last R, which is results. Because once you expose yourself, then you're able to, you know, like a whiteboard, you're able to, boom, here's one little slash I can take away. Here's one little mark I can take away. I understand this. I comprehend this. These are not my values. I don't need to do this anymore. And so next thing you know, you're this whole new radiating being, and you're just like, oh, I've been this all along. And it's like, yes, you just needed to take off the mask. You needed to just realize all of these things are not your beliefs. It's not your beliefs. It's not your emotions. It's not your depression. It's not your anxiety. It's not any of that. It's simply the fact that we're so covered in so many expectations that we're just like, where do I go? You get pulled so many places. So with my program, what I will be able to help you is, or offer is, gain clarity to what you want from life, what will make you the happiest, and understanding why you're feeling stuck. And so what we will do is work on developing new perspectives to start a new story so that you can find your true purpose in life.
Gosh, that's it. You know, like I was always we both watched The Secret, and I think that's, you know, probably why we're so attracted to each other is, you know, we have this similar background of like knowledge and truth, and like, what is the secret and what am I here for? What's my purpose? And like, yeah, like why are we even doing this whole thing? So I think it's just so fascinating that you're going to help people like get to their purpose, because I feel like, when you don't have like a mission or a vision for your life and where you want to go and what you want to do, you kind of wake up like, blah, like, what am I even doing? And like, why am I doing this? You know, but when you realize like, no, I'm important, I matter, I'm, you know, have a unique purpose that's meant for me. And when you can be authentically yourself and not show up as your kids want you to be, show up as your husband wants you to be, as, you know, society tells you should be, or, you know, the cultural norms that you're going through. So it's like, I just think it's such an empowering work that you do. So I know for me, I just love that work, and I'm so glad. So one of my missions here on earth is really to let people live a life of freedom and to do what they love. Like, I feel like our desires are put on our heart for a reason, and if you desire to do something, then it's because you were made to do that. Like, so yeah, I think it's just such perfect work, and it aligns perfectly. I know a lot of the people that follow me, they want to start a business, and I think, you know, starting a business, like I'm going to be launching a program in January, so I'm super excited about that. So that's if you know you have a desire for business, but if you really need to like understand who you are, and maybe you already have a job that you're loving, or you are in a business but you're not fulfilled, I think the work Amber does, I know what it's going to really get you in touch with who you truly are, and, you know, what makes you tick, what makes you happy. And it's so much of like layering. So I study A Course in Miracles, and what they say is, you know, you got to remove all the blocks from love's presence. And that's kind of like, I feel like the work that you're doing is like realizing that beautiful presence that we are, you know, and then it's like taking off all the baggage and all the layers and all the stories, and then letting yourself be you. And so I know you were saying before how you had some like guilt and shame around your story and what had happened. I feel like so many people feel guilty, but you realize we're all human, you know, and we're all doing the best we can. And then I think it's a story, or it's a really good realization when you look back at other people in the past and what they've maybe done to you. But people kind of are doing the same patterns over and over until you like consciously shift, like I'm willing and I'm able to do something different. I want to do something different. I want to live life in a different way. I want to be happy. You know, people are just doing like what they saw their parents doing. They, you know, so it's just kind of a cycle that's always repeating yourself. You're like, no, I want to end the cycle. So I just commend you so much on the work you're doing. And I'm curious on how did you get so connected with like who you truly are? And was there like one book, one breakthrough moment? Was there something where you were like, wow, like I am powerful, like I have greatness within me? Like, what is it? Like, was there a moment, or how did you kind of explore that for yourself?
That's a great question. every day
I just thought about it because I'm curious.
It's a great question. You know, I dig in that every day, and there's always like a different response. But, you know, I'm going to take it back to the day that I feel like was just it for me. You know, I feel like that day, it was just, I was just done, Terri. You know, it brings a knot to my throat today to realize like, I'm happy as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because the Lord knows that day was just, you know, I was getting cheated on. I was getting disrespected. You know, it was just so much, Terri. And now I already had a child, you know, I was already 20 something years old, and I just didn't understand. And my mom told me about this like spiritual retreat. And, you know, at that time I was like, God, who? Right? Like, this man hasn't come into my life when I needed him. And of course, that's just the mind not realizing you're still alive, girl. You're still waking up. What do you mean? But I'm so hurt. I'm so damaged. I'm so broken. I'm so done. I'm so dead. I'm so empty, right? That it's like, how do I believe in this? So I was like, sure, mom, I'm gonna go. I'm like, I'm gonna do this for you. And I'll tell you something, Terri. Up there, I had to face myself. I had to face my story. I had to face who I am. It wasn't even about what anybody did to me. It was about who I am, who I became, that brought the shame to me. Because like they say, it's easier to forgive others than it is to forgive yourself. And that is what I was battling. I was battling that I couldn't forgive myself, and it got to a point where I'll tell you, I came back, I hugged my mom, I hugged my dad. I was like, this is what it's like to switch it around, to hear the story, to write your story, to yell your story, to cry your story, and then reframe it and say the power is back in my hands. I am no longer this victim. And I am also no longer this survivor. I am a warrior. I was placed here to go through it all and to come out on the other side with victory. And victory feels like this: happy, understanding, compassionate, loving. And that when I came back, I just started, reading The Alchemist and The Secret and just like Atomic Habits, anything and everything that allowed me to see my life in every single perspective, because you can learn so many things, but you can only apply so many at a time. And, for me, that's all it was. It was learning one thing. Okay, I am this, angry person. How can I change that? I'm not angry. I am passionate. I am a passionate person, and I just haven't found my passion, And so I just started changing the way I thought about myself. I spoke to myself, and now we're here. And so that's why for me, I always like say, unless you're willing to, unless you really are tired, unless you really, really are tired, then there's going to be a lot of tug and pull. Do I want this? Do I not want this? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And you know what? It's worth it. If you're not living happy and fulfilled and in peace, and just like you said, free, then it's worth it. It's worth investing in yourself. It's worth looking at yourself, even if it hurts. Yeah. Even if it hurts. So good. It's like,
and it's the shadows like that people like don't want to look at. And I was there where I just was, since I know so much about positive affirmations, like energy. And so I was just like, okay, let me just be positive. Let me like turn back to being grateful. And so I wouldn't like truly like let myself feel the feelings, because I was thinking like, oh no, I'm going to become what I think about. And, I want to like be in vibration of good energy. And so, but it's like, if you're feeling it, it's going to come up eventually. It's like you keep like stuffing like things under the carpet or something. It's going to come up. It's going to come out. It has to show itself. It's like, you can't hide it for so that long, right? It's going to like come up to the surface. And so I think it's so interesting, because I didn't do this before. And I feel like once I like looked at my shadows, looked at, any darkness, any, guilt, blame, shame, any reasons that I thought, wasn't good enough, or stories that I had told myself in the past, or things that had happened to me that I just didn't want to face. I didn't want to bring up, and what part did I play in that, right? And how did I let, how did I let the situation happen, or how did I react to the situation or perceive the situation? So it's just so interesting. And I love that you're bringing that up, because that's definitely something I didn't do for a very long time. And there was always something, like, it's like something that's stuck in your throat, or like a knot in your stomach, where you're like, why am I feeling this way when, things are good, but you haven't been able to release. And so one of the things actually I really noticed about you is you're really open to receiving. And a lot of people aren't like that. Like I'll talk about this, and people, they're like, man, like I didn't even realize I'm blocking my blessings, like where they weren't being open to receive. Like there's so many miracles happening all the time, and there's so many blessings being poured upon us. But until I think that's where it comes with the self-love and the self-worth and self-esteem, where you're like, I'm worthy and I'm open to receive. And also one of the things I wanted to just talk about quickly is, so you started your program, and I'm super excited, and we had our session, and we kind of talked it out, what it was going to look like, what it was going to be like. But like, did you kind of like meditate on it? Like, what was like one of the biggest things that you're like, this is the program, this is what it's going to be called, this is how I'm going to help people? Like, what was it that really made you realize, like, this is my purpose, this is my calling, like, this is what I'm going to do, like, for the next like month or a couple months at least?
For life, girl, for life.
This is what I do.
For life, okay? Another great question. You're full of great questions, and I love it because it allows me to explore myself. Way before I started the program with you, I was an avid meditator. And I say was because I now meditate, but in very different forms. But before, of course, it was, I guess the kind that you see where it's just like sit down and meditate, and just kind of sit. Now it's like binaural beats. I'm showering while I'm meditating, and taking deep breaths. So now my meditation looks very different. But when I was an avid sit down meditator, like yoga style, everything came to me. It just seemed like a movie. And it didn't happen right away. I would say I was probably into my meditation so like religiously 2 to 3 times a day for like probably 6 to 7 months before I saw anything. And when I did, it was like this movie. It showed me kind of like how I was going to get there, when it was going to start, what was I going to do with that income. It was just extra, like it was just this thing where you're just like, it's so weird, but it's not weird, right? Like I know it's what my higher power, it's sending it to me saying, this is where you belong, this is what you're supposed to do, now step into it, feel it, love it, enjoy it. And so once I started with you, of course, you just helped develop the skills and the gift that we have. And that is kind of where everything really started to just unravel, and where I was like, oh, this is what I'm really good at. And this is how I can go ahead and offer it, versus I love to talk and I like to make people feel happy, but I had not yet understood that I had so much value to offer because I didn't see the value in myself. And now that I do, it's like you said, the receiving end of it, it's so good that you're just like, oh my God, I've had so many people before I even started thinking of a coaching program. So many people have mentioned before, like, there is a before Amber, someone I met before, and who I was before I met you, and who I am after I met you. And these are just coffee conversations, right? And so I thought to myself, oh my God, how do I do this? And honestly, Terri, by simply being me, by simply harnessing my power and accepting it and saying, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I understand I am part of something way bigger than myself. And I understand what it's like to feel the way I did at one point. And if I felt it, there's others out there. So how can I be of service? How can my story help you? And this is where I'm at.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, that's like, what's one of my biggest passions is, figuring out. So it's not just a business for me, it's like the lifestyle. So it's like, what do you want the lifestyle to be? And I know, like, you were just knocking off your goals. And so I'm like, oh man, like, I'm excited to see where you're going. But it's like, like, what are you good at? And then how can you package it in a way that other people will see the value of it and that you see the value of it. And then really, like making money doing what you love. And so I love working with coaches because I think I really do think everyone needs a coach. It's like, people realize when I'm going to go be an Olympic athlete or when I'm going to go on the football field in high school, like, you need a coach. But it's like, if you want to live a good life, so you want to be a good athlete, then you get a coach, right? You want to live a good life, then you get a coach, right? It's just like, I feel like it's something that everyone should have. And in all areas of your life, I definitely have a spiritual coach, relationship coach, my success coach, and then my business coaches, of Kane and Alessia, I just hired. So it's just been such an amazing journey. And I think coaching is so, so important. And I do want to just encourage anyone that's watching now, watching the replay, to, if this message at all rings true, if you feel like, I want to be happier, I'm not really sure how, I want to be more authentic, I want to, be excited for life, then I would really say to message Amber and check out her program, because I just love your energy. I love the work you're putting out there. You care so much. And when it's like energy doesn't lie. Like I just made a post earlier today, like energy is everything. Like you can't lie. Like, it's like, so yeah. So I would just say, yeah, if you felt any of this, then definitely, drop her a line. And then for me, if you guys are interested in starting or growing a business, then I would love to talk to you. I'm definitely going to be launching a program soon all about that. So definitely check us out. Did you want to leave viewers with any other, like, just last minute parting advice, or just anything that feels right to say?
Yeah, I would definitely like to just reiterate and send with so much love the importance that it is to love yourself. I feel like self-love, self-care, self-development is being out there so much, but it's just like you said, the energy doesn't lie, and I really, really want everyone out there to really, really love themselves. I don't think I ever understood boundaries or what selfishness was. I felt selfish was like egotistic, narcissistic type of way. But today I'm like, I'm nothing of that. I am pure love. I am pure happiness. And it doesn't mean that I don't have, challenges. I have challenges, of course, as I have to learn to implement everything that I'm learning into my life in order for me to become the next version of myself. But I cannot reiterate more self-love. And self-love is not the same thing as self-care. It's not the same thing as self-development. Self-love means you're able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, damn, girl, you've come a long way. You've survived so many things, and sometimes it may be very difficult to see it depending on where you're at. But if you are alive today, if you woke up today, there's something for you to do. There is something for you to do. And if all that is hug yourself and say, we survived another day, you do that until you feel like everything is a blessing. Going to sleep is a blessing. Waking up is a blessing. Smelling the fresh air is a blessing. Putting your feet on the ground is a blessing. And that is what self-love is. And you can feel it at all times, even through your challenges. You're like, damn, girl, we didn't get mad today, or we didn't get frustrated. Like, woo, that's a win. That's self-love. It's self-love, putting yourself in a different vibration, choosing happiness, yourself, your love, no matter what is going on, and simply taking a step back. It's not all about you. It really isn't all about you. And we forget that because we're in lack of love. But once you're overflowing with love, you realize, wow, it's about the trees, it's about the butterflies, it's about everyone. It's about everyone. And so I would love to welcome everyone into that space. And if you don't know how to get there, or you would like to know a little more, it's like Terri said, I will definitely help you uncover those areas of your life. If you're already there and would like to start a business, Terri, oh Lord, number one, I will recommend her forever and always. She's been amazing. And thank you so much for today, Terri.
Oh man, thank you. I love this topic, and I love how you ended it. Self-love is the highest vibration attraction there is. And so I know that's when I came up with the Abundance Mastermind. That's when I brought my beautiful partner into my life. Like everything, I feel like everything comes from self-love. You're allowing the blessings to come in. You're loving yourself. You just are vibrating so high. And so that is so perfect way to end it. And I look forward to connecting with all of you guys. And yeah, definitely connect with Amber. And we'll talk soon. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you, everyone.